Hello everybody, happy Monday. Super excited to be here with you guys as always. We are going to have a blast today sewing up our heart blocks for our Christmas adventure row quilt. And as you can see behind me, we did I don't think you can see because of the camera, but the first row is the star blocks, and then we had holly blocks last week, and this week we are on to our hearts. And they are so fun to sew. They are pretty quick to put together. They're not a super complicated block. So we're just going to have a blast sewing these up, and we're going to talk about tips for making your hearts come out nice and even. And we're going to talk about fabric ideas, different things like that. So it's going to be really fun today. These are what the blocks look like. They're just really cute little heart blocks. And the methods that we're going to talk about here are perfect for pretty much any heart block. Now, of course, you can make these in any size. You can make them so that they do have a point at the top, they don't have a point at the top. You know, lots of different choices. We're going to talk about that as well. But once you sew these up, you will be able to make pretty much most heart blocks just with super easy, because they are all made mostly the same way. So it's going to be a really fun day. And I'm excited to hang out with you guys. We have giveaways. I have a new fabric collection that is coming out in September that I can't wait to show you guys. It's not mine personally, but I'm really excited about it. I have a tiny part of it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then, of course, things that are going on the blog. So let's see who's here. My nose is itchy, you guys. Sorry. Valeria. Am I saying your name right, Valeria, over on YouTube? Is it Valeria or Valeria? I don't know, but I'm so glad you're here. And Val's here, so we have two Vals over there. Yay, on YouTube. So glad. It's nice and sunny there. Oh, it's cloudy here, and we're starting to get kind of those afternoon thunderstorms that is really nice, and it kind of cools off the rest of the day, which I love. So it gets nice and toasty during the day, but then we get a nice afternoon thunderstorm, and then it's really nice in the evening, and I like it. We've also started, it feels like the very beginning of fall for me is, so up here they do a lot of smoked tobacco, and so the tobacco leaves are really big, like 3 feet long, really big and really wide, and so they hang them in the barns, and then they close up the barns, and they have all sorts of little like wood shavings underneath, and then they light that somehow. I don't exactly know how it burns, but it doesn't burn super strong, it just smokes, and so the smoke pours out of the top of the barn. So when you're driving down the road, it smells like really good barbecue. It doesn't smell like tobacco at all. It smells like barbecue, and it's just like it. Once we see those barns going, it feels like the beginning of fall. And I know it's the middle of August and it's still hot, and I'm not trying to rush summer, though I kind of am, but it's kind of one of my favorite things about living here is those barns smoking. And we saw our first smoking barn this weekend when we went up to the property, and I was just so happy. We opened the windows and we let all the smoke in, and then we closed them so that it stays smoky and yummy smelling in the car. So there's a window into what I love about fall here in Tennessee. So let's see who's on YouTube. Dawn's here, Shelby's here. Hi Leslie, Maria's here, Carrie's here. Hey Carrie. And Leanne's here, and Allison's here. More rain, Allison. I know, you guys have had all the rain. It's been a weird August there. Dawn, I agree. Fall is good quilt weather. Okay, so Valeria. Okay, I was saying it wrong. I'm so sorry, Valeria. And we have Kathleen from Ocean Park, Washington. Oh, that sounds lovely. How fun is that? And Rosemary over on Facebook says it's a rainy day here in Michigan. It just started raining outside my window maybe 2 minutes ago. So we're getting some rain here now today too. So let's talk about all the fun things. I think we should do giveaways first. Don't you guys? I love giveaways. They're one of my favorite things. So every week in our sew-alongs, we do a little giveaway, and they're super easy to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, and it works if you're watching live or you're watching later in the week, anytime, as long as it's during the week after the video. So once the next video starts, it kind of rolls over. So this video will be good until next Monday when we do our campers next week. So, and for this giveaway, I'm also doing extra bonus entries, and they are for sharing a photo. If you share a photo in the Facebook group, that counts, and if you share a photo on Instagram, that counts, as long as you tag me and use the hashtag. Otherwise, I don't really know it's there. So easy ways to earn extra entries is just share your progress. It doesn't have to be, if you're sewing up stars this week and you want to share those, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be hearts this week, though that works great too. So you just need to use the Christmas Adventure SAL Sew Along. My dogs are going to bark in a minute because the UPS truck just pulled up outside. I give you fair warning. So last week's giveaway is a really fun one, and I've got you pretty much all started here for this kit. So I'm giving away my Penny Serenade quilt pattern. This is one of my newer patterns. I designed it to go with Stardust fabric, but it looks great in any fabric. I'm finishing up my Christmas version in Christmas Adventure that I'm going to teach at Garden of Quilts. And if you want to know more about Garden of Quilts, go to my blog and search Garden of Quilts, and you can check all that out. I would love, there's the dogs. I would love for you guys to be there. So this is a really fun quilt, and it uses strips, so 2.5-inch strips, perfect for roly-polies or jelly rolls. And it uses my templates. Now you get paper templates in the pattern, but I also have back in stock, after a very long break, my acrylic templates. These are so fun, you guys. They're a half hexagon and a triangle. I have 3 quilt patterns now that use these same templates. So I really don't like templates that you can only use once. That's not my favorite thing. So I'm trying to make it so that it's as good a value for you guys as I can. So you can use these same templates on 3 of my quilt patterns: the Penny Serenade, the Vintage Stars, and the Vintage Garden quilts. So, and they're cute, they're pink, and they make it really easy to cut out those shapes. So these are perfect for this quilt pattern. And then I also have a roly-poly of Stardust for you so that you can make up the Penny Serenade like it's shown on the cover. It's really fun. It's kind of a scrappy quilt, so you don't have to make it up. You just want to kind of put your strips together and then cut them apart. It's almost like putting your puzzle pieces together and then cutting them apart and putting them back together in a different order. But it's really fast and fun. So, and you need the fabric to do that. So I have a Stardust roly-poly for you. And I do have pre-cuts of both of my current collections in my shop. I have every pre-cut. I have fat quarters, I have 10-inch stackers, 5-inch stackers, and roly-polies in the shop for both Stardust and Christmas Adventure. And my shop is linked at the bottom of today's video, so you can check that out if you are curious. So our winner from last week is Roxy2, T-E-W. Hey Roxy, you're our winner. Send me your email, send me an email with your mailing address, and I will get this right out in the mail to you. So fun. Okay. Carrie, your heat wave has finally broken. That's great. Yay. Hi, Wendy. Let's see. Okay, so this week I have a fun little gift bag for you guys. Look how cute this is. This is this week's prize. This is a Pin Pals bag. Kelly Bannon is super talented, and she is a quilt designer, and she had a collection that came out last year. I think it was last year. And it was all quilty puns, and these bags went along with it, and I bought up several of them for you guys. So I give them out occasionally, but I love them. I use one for my current embroidery project. So I'm working on some secret embroidery projects. So I always keep the hoop and then whatever thread I'm using for that project and a little bit of scissors in there. Really makes it super nice for smaller projects. It would work good for paper piecing things as well. And it's also just generally adorable. So let's see what we have in here in this cute zipper bag. So in here, I have put 3 charm packs. I'm kind of loving 5-inch stackers right now. They're just so cute, and they're just so flexible. You can do so many different things with them, and if you have 3 of them, you can make a pretty good size quilt, depending upon the pattern, of course. So this is a collection that I believe is out right now. It is Sue Daly's current collection, and it's called Faith, Hope, and Love. And it is beautiful, you guys. There's the colors and prints. Whoa, crooked. Lots of pinks, and then there's some dark fabrics, some lights, and then of course mustard and aqua. It's a really cute collection. And there's just lots of different variations too. There's big florals and then tiny, tiny little florals, some geometric prints. It's just really lovely. So I have 3 charm packs, and I just love this bright pink. It's so good, you guys. It's just a beautiful floral. So to go with the pink theme, I have for you some unicorn head pins from Tula Pink. These are darling, you guys. And so there are a big round of them, and there are, I don't know how many pins on here, 30 pins, and they all have really cute bright pink unicorn heads. Can you guys see that without the reflection? So how much fun is that for quilting? I love it. And I like this little handy holder for it too. And to go along with that, I have one of my pink Flamingo stilettos. So these are super nice for if you're doing points on anything like bags or pillows. And it's also a nice stiletto. It helps. I've been using mine at the ironing board all the time to help hold seams open, especially with my kaleidoscope blocks. Those seams are mostly pressed open, and I just don't really want to run my fingernail alongside my iron. So I put my little stiletto down, and it kind of helps hold the seam open, and then I can just press along. Speeds up the process quite a bit. So I really like that. Plus, she's just really cute. She'd look so cute in a little canister by your sewing table. So all those things are this week's giveaway. Fabric and pins and the stiletto. And of course the cute bag. Can't forget the cute bag. So if you want to be entered in this week's giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment. And if you want extra entries, keep in mind that the pictures are extra entries. So you have to leave the comment first and then share the photos. Well, you don't have to do it in that order, but it doesn't count. The photos are awesome, and I love them very, very much. But the video, it's really hard for me to keep track of who's entered where. So if you leave a comment on the video and share the photos, that is a really good way to get all those extra entries. So that's this week's giveaway. Super fun, you guys. Yay, I'm so glad you guys like them. Hi, Amy. And Dawn says she loves cute bags to keep her projects safe from kittens. I think that's a genius idea, Dawn. Ginger, you just got your kit. Oh, that's awesome. Well, the videos are available. You can resource them anytime, so don't feel like you have to rush. But I'm super excited that you're sewing along. That's awesome. Yay. Okay, so let's talk about quickly. We have a short block to make this week, so we have a little bit of time to chat about fun things. So this week on the blog, last week on the blog, I finished up all of my kaleidoscope blocks. So I'm ready to sew it together this week, which I'm going to do tomorrow, so that on Friday I can show you the whole runner top, and then after that, then I will be quilting it. So I'm excited about that. So I have these cute, which are crooked. These are the small blocks. These are 8 inches, and they're just darling. I fussy cut the flamingos in the center. This is all Stardust fabric, and the background is Confetti Cotton's Butterscotch, and Confetti Cotton's is Riley Blake's Basic Solid. So they're really cute, and they look so fun together. So I'm pretty excited about how the prints in Stardust really pop against this Butterscotch fabric. And I'm really excited to see how it looks once it's all quilted. I think it'll be a fun runner to have all the way out like fall, but I think with the Stardust prints it's flexible, so it would be really cute with fall because of the butterscotch, but it's something I could use with spring too, because really butterscotch is kind of year-round. So I'm excited about a multi-seasonal table runner. And then these are the big blocks. They're nice and big size, 16 inches. This is the cream one, and then I did a blue centered one, and then this is the pink. And you guys kind of asked a couple weeks ago about what color to use as my border. I wanted to use one of the big florals, so I decided to use the cream, and most of you guys agreed with me. So this will be my center block to kind of tie with the cream border, and then the other two will be on the outside. So these were really fun and fast to sew. Well, not fast, but really worth it. There's lots of little pieces there. So I'm excited about seeing how that looks. And now I have butterscotch threads everywhere. The other project I shared on the blog last week was I'm sewing along with the Riley Blake Building Blocks series Quilt Along, and it is a new series they started just probably about a month ago, and they're going pretty slowly. It's a new block every other week, which I love. It gives me time to do it along with everything else that I'm doing. And it's a perfect quilt if you are just learning, or if you want to just refresh your skills, or have just a really fun quilt at the end of it. So they're taking you through each step of quilting and building those skill levels, and there are video tutorials for every week, and the patterns are all free. So it's super easy and fun. You could definitely use your stash. You can use leftovers from a quilt, anything like that. Sorry, one sec. So I am sewing along with Stardust as my prints, and then I picked Riley Blake Linen as my background, and I'm getting a little obsessed with it. You can be pretty sure that there are a lot more linen quilts coming your way. So this is how my block looks. This is this week's. It's the Ohio Star block, and I like how it's kind of building. So the first block was a friendship star, which is pretty simple, and then it went to a square and a square block, and then it went to a churn dash, and now we're at the Ohio Star. And then I can't remember what it is the next week. If you go to Riley Blake's page, so to get you there the easiest, I have the link for this in today's video description, so you can click that, and then I have the link to Riley Blake, to the free patterns, and then there's also info on how the quilt looks overall. So you can kind of see, it's not a mystery quilt. You'll be able to see each block as it goes. And they also have the quilt in the videos, so you can see what it looks in real life. So it's really cute. And so each block will get progressively more detailed as we go. So I'm really excited about this. I'm using the greens and blues and creams from Stardust. I left the pinks out of it, and it's been really fun to play with the fabric choices and see how they look against the linen. So I did like a natural linen, and I'm excited to see how this looks all put together. I think the texture is going to be really fun. So this is the free pattern for an Ohio Star block. These are all 12-inch finished blocks. So really good for lots of projects. In fact, if you just love one of them, I think it would be fun to make up like a pillow, or if you did a whole like row of pillows, you know, for different blocks, but you used all the same fabric. It'd be super fun little combination of decor. So that is on the blog, and it's linked in today's video description as well, the free pattern for that Ohio Star block. So, oh, Valeria loves the Flamingo. Yay! Kathleen, I'm so glad you like the giveaway. That's great. Hi, Jan. Dawn, you want to do the building blocks too? I think you should. And Heather loves the butterscotch. And so does Amy. Yay. Hi, Julie. So good to see you guys. I have to fix this here and see who I'm missing. I didn't want to miss any comments over on Facebook. Okay, so before I talk to you about the fabric, I want to take a little break. You guys are so sweet. I've had people emailing me about my house, which is very kind of you. So we had some good progress on our house this week. They started laying the block walls for the foundation. So I'm going to show you that. And here we go. So this is the two walls they have done. I'm sitting over the other two block walls that aren't done. So it's really fun to see kind of the shape of it start to take form. And I know it's just a foundation, and it's not like the craziest, most exciting thing ever, but it is to me. So if you're looking, this is the front of the house. And so you can see a little bit of concrete, and that is where they're going to put the block for the porch. So basically you will be looking at the front of the house, the front left side of the house. So if you go all the way to the back, where that back corner is, that's going to be my sewing studio. So my view will be what is behind the house. So it'll be the, and I have a window on each side, so I'll be able to look out both directions, but my main view will be that back section that's the field and where the creek is and the field behind it. So really excited about that view. And of course, that's where we'll be having our videos once we get set up there, hopefully sometime early next year. So I'll definitely take you on a tour whenever that happens, as soon as I get my room figured out. I don't know when that'll be, but we are going to work on it. So that is this week's update. Really excited about all that. Super fun. So now I want to show you guys the collection that is coming out that I'm excited about. And I'm going to switch over here and move this so you can't see me very well because I just need to shift a little bit. So here is this collection that I want to show you about. This collection is called Hush Hush, and it is Riley Blake's new low volume collection. You guys, it's amazing. And I don't have all the numbers on it for you, but I think there was like 20 to 25 designers that participated. We all did each one different low volume, and then Riley Blake has put them all together into this gorgeous collection. So I'm gonna set that aside. And I want to just show you these because they're so cute and I'm really excited for using them. And I should have taken the time, it would have taken a little bit to write down like whose is what, and I can't remember them all. I know this is Minky Kim's because it's just so perfect for her style with all these little, it's almost like different prints all in one. So really excited about that. Oh, Carrie over on YouTube's here. We're your first live. Welcome, Carrie. I'm so excited you're here. That's great. Patricia, you said on YouTube it's freezing up a little bit. Is anybody else having a problem or are we okay? So this is, I'm just going to kind of flip through the different low volume prints and then I'm going to talk about what's coming up with these. So these will be in stores in September. It's called Hush Hush. And like I said, it's all sorts of different Riley Blake designers. So this one's like a really sweet geometric print in blues and greens. And then there is just this dot print. I think I'm going to order a whole bolt of that. Look at that, you guys. Is that not the cutest print? And then we have a text print with all sorts of fabric colors. So it goes from light gray, vintage white, light vanilla, silver cloud, but it just makes a really cute kind of diagonal text print. I love that it's a text print on a diagonal. And then we have a great grid print. This is a dark gray on kind of a light ivory background. This is a really great background print. It's just a little geometric dot thing. This is a technical term for it. It's a dot thing. This one is so cute. I believe this is Simple Simon & Company, but these little houses, look how cute these, oh, you guys can't see. Isn't that sweet with the little birds? So it's just a little house, a line drawn house, and then a bird. And then we have a great floral with some little dots. And then, oh, this one is a really good one too. These are just little X's, little crisscrosses. And these are kind of, I can't tell if these are navy or black. They're pretty dark. I'm not sure. You can probably tell whose this is. This is Barry Lori Holt with these hexagons and then the different almost stitch guides to them. Super cute, and I love the colors in this one, you guys. It's really colorful and fun. Isn't that beautiful with the different hexagons? This one looks like a chain stitch and then a little leaf stitch. It's just so cute. So I think that one is really colorful and fun. And then we have little butterflies or moths. I'm not really sure what the difference is. Aren't they pretty? Just little drawn, super subtle, like taupe colored moths with leaves and flowers. Look at the pretty, I think these would be really pretty fussy cut. And then we have this great almost architectural print. It's a little bit bolder, but it pairs with everything so well. So this one's kind of different rooms, or I'm not exactly sure what they're building here, but it's a really fun one. And then I'm pretty sure this is Quiet Play, because she does such a great job with the rainbow print. So it's all little dots and stars, and hexagons and diamonds, and then the stars are little rainbow stars. You guys, how cute is that? So great. Leanne asked what low volume was. So low volume just means that it's a whole lot more subtle and they make great background prints. So that doesn't mean that you can't sew with them as the star of your quilt. A whole entire low volume quilt is amazing, but it just means that instead of bright, bold prints, everything's just softer. So they work really great as backgrounds, and they just add a lot more visual interest as your background instead of just a solid or something like a shabby or something like that. So I hope that answers your question. This one is really sweet. It is lots of different little blue hearts, and there are a couple different shades of hearts there. This one I think you could use on so many different projects, and I also feel like a lot of these would be great background projects for embroidery. So if you took something like this and put your pattern on it, you'd have some visual interest back there, but it wouldn't be so busy that it takes away from the look of the embroidery. So that one's really cute. This one is super fun. I love it. I think it looks like a little granny square with the little diamonds. It's really pretty shadowy. Then there's a really nice light plaid. Isn't that gorgeous? And this one I know is Amanda Niederhauser's Jedi Craft Girl, and it has little pink hearts that are line drawn, and then of course little line drawn kitties. And how sweet is that little kitty? Isn't she cute? With her little smile. That one's really great. This is Janet Wickerfresh's, I know that, and this is a great measuring tape print. Isn't this good? So fun, you guys. How cute would that be on a binding? And then you might be able to guess whose this is. This is mine in the collection, and of course I had to do flamingos. These are little line drawn pink flamingos, nice and subtle, and they go a couple different directions, so you don't have to worry too much about directional prints. So I'm really excited. I've bought in several bolts of this because I can't wait to use it as quilt backgrounds. And then there's one more. Pretty sure this is Lori now that oh, there's two more. Maybe I have that wrong on the hexagons. This is Lori, I think, and they're different zipper and stitching lines. So that was really cute. And then this one is Melissa Mortensen, and it's her sweet little pink bows. Really, really cute. So again, this collection is called Hush Hush. I'm going to switch you back over real quick. This collection is called Hush Hush. It'll be in stores next month. I don't know where to put it. And it is gorgeous, you guys. So fun. And it's going to be available in pre-cuts and everything like that. I am excited I'm going to make up my Vintage Stars quilt with it, and I'm going to use the Hush Hush collection as the hexagon portions, and as the stars I'm going to pick just a floral. I think I'm going to do the blue floral from Stardust, so the stars will kind of pop, but it'll have all these gorgeous low volumes kind of behind it. I'm super excited about that, and I can't wait to make that up. We're also going to have a sew-along project coming up with it that that's all I know about it, or that's all I can share about it. So that'll be this fall. It's going to be really fun to sew along with that. So lots of fun things to look forward to for that. Okay, you guys ready to get started? Dawn loves the kittens. Yay, Dawn! I'm so glad. Valeria, I'm so glad that you love the flamingo. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a fun background to use. Okay, so this is our Christmas adventure quilt. We are on the heart row this week. So you can see we've done the stars, and we have done the holly, and now we're on hearts. Then next week we will head into campers, though there are several little pieces for the campers, so it takes a little bit longer to cut them out, but there's only 5 of them as opposed to however many hearts or ornaments. There's lots of the ornaments. There's most of those. So it shouldn't be too bad for you guys for cutting. The hearts go pretty quickly. You can layer your fabrics if you want to. So if you want to place 2 fat quarters on top of each other and cut both of them out at the same time for your hearts, you can double up your cutting that way so that it's a little bit faster. And so we're going to make all these cute little hearts. We are making 11 of them. And I made mine scrappy, so I used 11 very different prints as mine, but you can change that up If you're using the kit, you do need to stick with that pretty close, or else it'll throw you off other places. But if you're using your own fabrics or different fabrics, go crazy. You can make all of them the same color, or you could do just reds and greens, or you could go shades and do like light pinks and dark pinks or something like that. Give yourself some freedom to play with that a little bit. It doesn't have to be super scrappy like mine is. So we are going to sew up these heart blocks, and I'm going to switch over and scooch over a little bit so that we can see. There we go. So I've got fuzz. So you're going to need your rotary cutter, of course. You are going to need a marking pen if you don't have the laser on your sewing machine like I do. And we're using a very similar method to what we did with the holly blocks. And I need to scooch over here just a skosh. So we're going to use a similar method to what we did with the holly blocks, in that we are doing a lot of stitch and flipping again. So you will need your A pieces, which are all the prints of your fabric. And then you will need the B background pieces. These form the tops of the heart. Oh, look, I like the blue. I think this ornament print is one of my favorite prints in the whole collection. And I know I'm not supposed to have favorites. Well, I guess I can have favorites. It's not like it's a child, but I feel like I shouldn't have favorites, but I kind of do. So this little ornament print is one of my favorites. I just love the gold around it and the cute tiny little bikes. So what we're doing, these are the B pieces. They form the top of the heart. And then these are the C pieces, and they form the bottom sides of the heart. So these are pretty easy to keep directional with your fabrics. You'll just want to make sure that your pieces that are directional are facing the same direction. You don't want to turn one the other way, because then your heart's not going to match. So as far as directional fabrics, these are pretty easy to do. So we're just going to do this really quick. So if you are using a marking pen, you will draw a diagonal line down your B pieces and your C pieces. And I would just go ahead and draw all your lines at once. You can also use that triangle seam tape. Sorry, one sec. That will show you where you are supposed to sew. I have a little laser here, and I'm going to scooch this down a little bit so you guys can see the sewing machine. Let's see. There's my laser. So I just put my center and I line up my diagonal line so that the laser kind of hits at the top and bottom, and I just sew down that. So it saves me the time of marking on this crescendo. There are other machines that have lasers, and you can even do like a jerry rig. If you get just a little like laser pen, you can tape it to the front or something like that. But these are easy and fun to do. So the only thing that you really need to watch out for is directional of your sewing. So you can see on this, it's important that on the left side of each of these blocks that the line go this direction, and on the right side that the line go this direction. And same with the bottom of the heart. You want to form that triangle point. So you want to make sure that once you've sewn these on, that one of your pieces has the diagonal seam going this way and the other piece goes this way. Mary Beth, the sew along pattern is in my shop. I have it linked in today's video description. All of my videos are free, but you do have to buy the pattern to get the instructions as far as the cutting and the full detailed instructions. So you can go to my shop, it's Flamingo Toe Shop, and I also have a link straight to the PDF version of the pattern, so you can check that out there. And that's on YouTube or Facebook. I have it linked both places for you. So now I'm going to sew the diagonal line on this one, and I'm going to sew across from here to here. And I'm going to do the same thing on my other piece. So I'm just going to sew both left sides at the same time. That was quite quick. So I'm going to sew both of these at the same time. And like I said at the beginning of the video, most heart blocks follow this method of sewing. So once you've sewn these up, you will be able to make pretty much any heart block. Now, I'm not saying that I have a copyright. Everybody makes heart blocks like this, but I'm just telling you not to be afraid of heart quilts from here on out. Okay, so I have now sewn these on the same side. You can see that cute little seam. And so we are going to do some trimming. And I'm going to move these out of the way. And you guys know I like to make things a little bit faster. So I am overlapping my two pieces. And I'm going to cut them both at the same time. So I've lined up my 4 points, my 4 corners, and now I'm going to place this, my ruler, this dashed line is 1/4 of an inch away from the edge, and I'm placing it right on my seam. And I'm going to cut that corner off. So that is our first corner of our heart block. So now I'm going to press. And my iron turned off while I was chatting, so that's going to be fun. Oh, it didn't work too bad. It was on earlier, so it's mostly pressed. So I'm just pressing both sides away. And you have to do this before you go on to the next side because you're going to overlap them, and you don't want that seam to be funky looking. So we're going to take 2 more B pieces, and we're going to place them on now the right sides of the block, and we're lining them all up so they look nice and pretty. And we are going to sew opposite. So instead of sewing this same direction, that would take us through the middle of the block. So now we're going to sew kind of opposite that, and we're going to go down this direction from the top down to the side. And again, I'm chain piecing these so that they go together a little bit more quickly. And I'm just going to, my foot pedal is in a weird place right now. So it's making things a little crazy. Okay, we're just going to go a little bit further. So who has made up a heart quilt before? I would love to know. I love heart quilts. I love pretty much anything about them. I think they're so cute. I have one. I have another one in process that was supposed to come out quite some time ago and didn't. But it's still in process. We're working on it. There aren't enough hours in the days, you guys. Hey, Roxy. Oh my goodness. Roxy, you're our winner this week. If you just hopped on, you missed the announcement, but you're the winner from last week's giveaway. So you won the Penny Serenade Roly-Poly, the acrylic templates, and the Stardust Roly-Poly Penny Serenade quilt pattern and the acrylic templates. So send me an email and I will get your prize out to you. Yay. Okay, so now you can see I've sewn these two, same thing as we did before, and now I'm going to overlap them and I'm going to cut them at the same time. Okay, so now we've trimmed that off, and you can see that we have formed the top points of the star. And let me press this real quick. You can see that the white fabric overlaps on top, and it's meant to do that. It overlaps 1/4 of an inch so that when we sew the sashing on, we'll take up that 1/4 of an inch and it'll put our row right to the top of our heart points, which you can't see because of my face. So our seam allowance for the next row above this will be, and it's a background row, so it will go right up here up until that heart point, and it lines up nicely. There are, I've made other heart blocks where those points don't overlap, and that gives your hearts more of a rounded look on top. My Hearts and Kisses quilt is like that, and both are equally awesome. This I just wanted the pointy hearts for, and I didn't want super small pieces here. I was trying to keep the pieces a little bit bigger. I know we ran into small pieces on the holly blocks, but this one we went for the point. So if these pieces were cut a little bit smaller and they didn't overlap, then when you sewed that piece on, it would kind of give you more. You can see if I put my hand here, it makes the top of the heart look more rounded, than it is, than it would be if we had these points. So just different variations on a heart, but that's how you get that different look on a heart. You can make yours that way if you want. Just cut your background B pieces a little bit smaller, and then your hearts will be a little bit more rounded than mine are. It doesn't matter. That doesn't affect the overall size of the block. It just affects the look of the block, but it gives you a different option as far as how you want your heart to look. So these are our C background pieces. Now we've got both of our top pieces on our heart, and we're placing them on the bottom half of these blocks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sew across, but we're doing them opposite each other. And it shows you how to do that in the pattern, so don't get confused by that. But we're making those diagonal lines to form the triangle portion of the heart. So you're sewing, again, opposite each other. So I'm going to sew this one this way. And if you have, your blocks laid out like this, it's easier to see, okay, I already did the left side and I went, from the middle to the bottom corner. So for the right side, I know I want to go this way. If you don't, if they're kind of just sitting there, then it's easy to forget which way you're going. So we're just going to sew those two seams, and you can do a lot of chain piecing with these blocks. They don't have to be done one at a time like we're doing here. If you want to sew all of your left side top pieces, your B background pieces on all 11 of your hearts, you can do that all at once, and then do all the right sides, and then do all your bottoms. It works out really well as far as making it speed up just a little bit. If it's easier for you to keep track, then definitely go ahead and do the hearts one at a time. It doesn't add that much time to it. So Jan, you made a heart wall hanging. Yay! I'm so glad. Hey, Suzanne. Super glad you're here. Hi, Pam. I'm glad you like the blocks. Let's see. Carla asked, where did I get this tiny cutting mat? I am really obsessed with this cute thing. This was in a Fat Quarter Shop sew sampler box I don't know when, many months ago, but I believe she sells it on the website. So you can check Fat Quarter Shop. It's fatquartershop.com, and this is the Kimberly Cuts 5.5 inch rotating cutting mat. So it spins. It's just so cute. It's a little spinning mat, and it goes all the way up. Here's the 5.5 mark right here. So these are 1.5, 2.5, so they go all the way up. And I just like it. It's perfect for these kinds of tiny cuts. I don't like doing a lot of repeat cuts in one place on my big cutting mat. It's fine for when I'm cutting out a quilt, but when I'm doing something like stitch and flip like these, or anything like this, or if I'm trimming up half square triangles, I always pull up a smaller mat because it saves you using your big regular mat and doing a ton of cuts on it at one time. It's a whole lot easier and less expensive to change out a smaller mat that you have, made thousands of half square triangles on or something like that than it is to change out your whole big mat. Sorry. So I had a hair. All right, now we are going to cut these both at the same time. So they're kind of wonky, but that's because I'm lining up the seams. So both seams go this same direction. And again, if layering them for cutting throws you off and you found that you've accidentally cut off the bottom of your heart block or something like that, don't do that anymore. Cut them separately. So now you can see I've cut both 1/4 inch away, and you can already see that heart shape before we even press it open. So I'm going to press these, and I'm pressing towards away from the print fabric, towards the seam, just a little bit easier to keep track of, and it makes the seams not quite so bulky. And I'm going to dissect my sewing here in a little bit for you guys. Now, I don't worry about this kind of stuff, but I just want you to be aware when it does happen. You can see here on this one, my background piece does stick off just maybe not even a 1/16 of an inch. And that was because I didn't have it lined perfectly up with the bottom print piece. So when I press it, it is sticking out just a little bit from this side, you can see it, and then right there at the bottom. Now this kind of a overage, I really would not even pay any attention to, but I'm just pointing it out to you. If it happens to you, you'll know why that is. The main thing with doing these stitch and flip blocks is get them lined up at the very beginning correctly, and that makes it so that when you flip them open, they're the same size. So we cut these, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, we cut these pieces 2.5 by 4.5. Once you do all your stitch and flipping pieces on these, they should still be 2.5 by 4.5 inches because we've lined everything up correctly and we want to make them be the same size. So that is kind of how you figure that out, and it also makes it so that your block pieces together really easily. So now all of the prep is done on our blocks, and all we have to do is flip them right sides together and then sew. And if you are a pinner, I would recommend you pin at the bottom and at this seam. And I always like to double check my seams and make sure that they're lined correctly. It's more important to me that these pieces match up and the bottom than the top and bottom. It's not going to be that far off, but I really like it when the points of my heart match up correctly. Does that make sense? So I always like to just do a little check, a little fold over of about 1/4 inch. Okay, when I fold that over, the two background pieces are touching in the right area, as opposed to something like this, where you can see that that background piece overlaps the other background piece. If I were to sew that like that and fold it open, then you would see that that point doesn't come of the heart, doesn't come to a perfect point here. And these are just tips for you getting your hearts sewn up as close to good as you can get them. If it isn't that way, and believe me, I've made lots of quilts that way, where my heart points don't line up, I promise you, no one is even going to notice. You won't even notice after a while. These are 4.5 inch tall hearts. So in the big scheme of things, once you have your whole quilt together, you will not be looking at the points of your hearts. Unless you're just really super perfectionist. And if that is the case, well, bless you. But so now I've sewn my center seam, and I can see that when I open it, my seams line up pretty darn good. So now I'm going to press, and I'm not going to take the time to do that, but these do line up a little bit, or lay a little bit flatter if they are pressed open. If you hate pressing seams open, don't do it. Just go ahead and press to the side. But with all this fabric in one place, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of fabric plus the seams, if you press to the side, it does get a little bulky where these background pieces meet up, like here down at the bottom and here. So if we press those seams open, it alleviates a little bit of that bulk and makes your heart block lie just a little bit flatter. Okay, and as I said at the beginning with my Flamingo point turner, and I don't have mine right here next to me, but I usually use it like this. I kind of pull it in and have it hold the seam open for me as I press. So I would actually do it with this way and hold the iron with my right hand. But so I would hold the Flamingo turner here like my nail is and just kind of press down, and then you can move the Flamingo turner back so that it holds that seam open for you, and you don't have a finger right up next to where your iron tip is, because we don't want to burn ourselves. So there is our cute little heart block. So I'm going to scooch this back over and scoot over a little bit. There we go. So that is this week's, and it's going to be a really fun week. I can't wait to see your heart blocks. If you guys have questions about anything, or if you need any more tips or anything like that, definitely post in the group, send me an email. You can do anything like that. I'm always happy to help out. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Valeria said she made 3 hearts lap quilt for each of her daughters and loads of coasters to go with it. I love that. What a great project. And Mary Beth, you can get started on the quilt behind me is the one we're sewing through, and that's the one linked in today's video description. It's the Christmas Adventure Row quilt. So you can get the link to the pattern in today's video description, or you can go to my blog and search Christmas Adventure Row Quilt, and you should be able to find links to that and my shop. Roxy made a couple of big heart quilts that used jelly rolls. Oh, I love that idea. That's a great idea. I love Halloween too. Okay, hey Teresa. Yes, we are almost done. I'm so glad you love the hearts, Cynthia. Yay. Oh, good job. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see your heart blocks. Hopefully these go together a little bit faster for you than the holly blocks did. They're pretty quick and nice and small. And then next week we will tackle our campers. There are several pieces to the campers, and so I'm sure you guys will be happy when those are done. They're so cute though. I can't wait. I think that I'm going to make maybe a camper pillow out of one of the blocks and then kind of just add some borders or something cute, maybe a heart in each corner. So it's a big enough block that you can use it as a center for something. Or if you wanted to make a runner to coordinate with your quilt, I think that would be so cute for Christmas. If you did, you know, campers down the runner, it'd be really cute. Super easy and fun. So I think that's everything. Don't forget to enter this week's giveaway. Leave a comment whether you're watching live or you are watching later in the week. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe. That helps out so much, helps out my video, show it to other people. And that works in Facebook too. I would love for you to hit that like button. Really appreciate you guys following along, and I will see you around. Have a great week, everybody.